The Evermore podcast is now sponsored by WFST Total Compliance. WFST provides fire safety requirements UK-wide to prepare you and your employees should the worst happen. Do what you do best and visit wfst.co.uk today. Enjoy the episode. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the instant match reaction. Somebody called the coppers because Newcastle have been robbed in Paris tonight. 100% unbelievable. I'm seething, absolutely seething. If it wasn't for YouTube monetization, I would have swore at least 6 times in the first 5 seconds of this episode. But we're going to get stuck right into this because the lads were absolutely fantastic tonight and we've been outdone by a rubbish referee decision, to be brutally honest with you. So we're going to get stuck right into this in a minute. Have a bit crap with you guys in the live chat as well. I'm sure you're raging absolutely as well. Before we do, as we always remind you, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We'd love you to come and join us. We're close to 6K. You can help us get there. We're really, really close. We'd love to get 6K for Christmas, unless this referee nicks that off us as well, possibly. Who knows the way he's going. But smash that button. Come and subscribe. We'd love you to come and join us. It's all free content. If you want to give a little bit back to the channel, there is an option there too. And if you can like the video too throughout the course of the episode, that would really help the channel grow. There's loads of you live already. I'm trying to keep up with these comments. I think Marcus in the background helped me with his comments. I think Alan straight away is kicking this off. Robbed 100%. Alan, I couldn't agree more. I'm going to get stuck right into all these in a minute. Just awful, as George says there. Just vile, absolutely vile. It really is. I'm absolutely foaming, to be honest with you. Shez, we have been cheated out of this. We were the better team by far. We'll get stuck into the game a little bit, just a little bit of an overview. Obviously, this is how we lined up. No surprise. I think me and Mark called this in a preview. Unchanged from the weekend. The lads were fantastic against Chelsea. You know, people were wondering, is Isak going to start? Will he be an impact player? You know, will Louis Miley start in midfield for Champions League? He did. And when he started, he became the 3rd youngest English player to play in the Champions League alongside Jude Bellingham and Phil Foden. If that's the company this kid's going to keep in his career, we will be absolutely spot on with this lad as a player. I'll talk about Miley as we get on because I thought he was fucking sensational tonight. I can swear now because I've been long enough. He was brilliant. So we'll get stuck right into this. Obviously, the first half, we weathered a storm. PSG come out the traps. They looked lively. They looked hungry. A little chance from Mbappe early on, a cheeky little flick. Brilliant save by Nick Pope. And that was a trend basically throughout the whole night, really. Great save by Pope. They were really pressing us. And then we started to grow into the game a little bit more. We started to get a bit more comfortable with it. You know, we started to get the passing game, some beautiful touches from the lads. And Livramento started to grow into that position at left back. I tell you something, me and Mark were talking about this before. I love Dan Burn. We all love Dan Burn. Livramento keeps playing like that at left back. There's no way Dan Burn's getting back in this side. I'm sorry, because he is absolutely class as Livramento defensively and obviously going forward. That was so in the goal. A beautiful run by Livramento. A jinking fullback run, just inside, outside. Miley, got to give Miley credit. He was class, you know, little touches here and there. He keeps it so simple. He looks so calm and composed. I love the dynamic of the midfield between Bruno, Joe, and Miley. We've seen it in 2 games there, and they just seem to complement each other really well. You've got Bruno and Joe just going around nobbling people and getting the ball and making things happen, and then Miley just seems to pop up with these little simple passes here and there, but he's always showing for the ball. And at 17 years old tonight, he put in a man's performance in a Champions League game, one of the toughest ties most people would get in the Champions League. He didn't look overawed at all. He makes a lovely little run. He pulls the defender out. Miggy shoots. Mark's the keeper of the Evermore team, and he probably was pulling his hair out watching Donnarumma flap at this relatively easy chance. It was kind of that chance that your keeper does on Sunday League when he got on at 3 a.m. and he can't really see straight, and he just tries to take a simple ball and then spills it. Isak puts it away 1-0. We're 1-0 up. We're good for the lead. And obviously, you know, we go in at half time 1-0 up. And in the second half, again, I thought, you know, PSG didn't really turn the screw a great deal. I thought, you know, they started to come into the game a little bit later on. But I think we just defended like absolute giants, to be fair. Whatever crosses came in the box, I thought Cher and Lascelles dealt with it really well. Trippier, sensational. Some of the tackles he put on Mbappe when he was out wide. Just what a player. I just wish he was 27, not 33. I keep saying that every time I see him play because he's so good defensively as well as offensively. Again, Tino on the opposite side was brilliant. Gordon was a pain in the arse again, just fucking mint. That midfield three was just excellent. I thought they dealt with everything that PSG could throw at them. Ugarte and Lee and all these other players, international class players, again, getting mugged off by a 17-year-old wonder boy, just popping up left, right, and centre, wanting the ball. Nice, simple passes. When he needs to, he releases a good pass. He hit a really good few balls to Isak, whose legs were completely fucking gone by about 55 minutes, I think. But as Mark kept saying in the messages to me, you need to get Isak off. But I think the sad thing was, who are we going to bring on? I mean, I think the only thing he could have done was bring on Lewis Hall left wing and play Gordon through the middle, possibly. But, we're doing so well in the game. PSG are screaming for everything because they know they're running out of time. They know that they haven't got much chance left to get back in this game. It's looking like Newcastle are going to have probably the best result they've ever had in Europe. 1-0 win at the Parc des Princes. Fucking, patched together, cut and shut side, really, with teenagers and Matt Ritchie on the bench, and like 9 keepers or whatever the fuck we had in the squad. And we look like we're going to come back to the UK with the 3 points, second in the group, at a real good chance of getting into the knockouts. And there was a couple of penalty shouts, and the referee was at Marcinak. I thought he was excellent all night. I was really impressed with me and Mark were messaging through the game, saying, he was really good. He wasn't taking any shit off any of the players. PSG were surrounding him, screaming for everything. Somebody farted in the crowd and they wanted a fucking penalty. And he was saying, no, piss off, fuck off. He was booking people left, right, and centre. And I thought he was great. He went to VAR before that and he completely, just said, no, nothing there at all. I think it was on Louis Miley. The ball sprung up and bounced off the floor, hit Louis Miley's arm, and he doesn't give a penalty. He doesn't give a penalty at all. He waves it away, tells PSG to fuck off. And you think, this is a proper referee, this. He's one of the top of his game. And then ludicrously, later on, I think it's in the dying moments. I think it's of injury time. I think it isn't. I'm just trying to see when the actual fucking goal was scored here. So the goal goes in. So Isak scores 24 minutes. Yeah, 90 plus 8 minutes, and Mbappe gets this penalty. So the ball comes and it bounces off Livramento's chest, and then it hits his arm. And they're all surrounding the ref, and he looks like he's not interested in giving it at all. Then he goes to the monitor, and he's looking at the monitor, and I swear I saw him shake his head as if, no, it's not handball. I'm sure I saw that. And then he looks at the monitor for a couple of seconds, and he just turns around, and he gives the penalty for this ball hitting Livramento's chest, then his arm. I mean, we say the Premier League refs are shit. That was absolutely fucking abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. If that's the top referee in Champions League football, then fuck me. Ali McCoy said we might as well pack up and go home. I mean, for Newcastle United to put in that shift at the Parc des Princes with that team and that squad and be screwed out of the 3 points by a fucking shit penalty like that is absolutely disgusting. And I know Eddie Howe is like, your mild-mannered reporter, and I don't imagine Eddie Howe will come on the camera and say what I've just said, as much as I would love him to. Fuck that. I'd let Jason Tyndall do the press conference. Fuck that, Eddie. Stay in the back, let Mad Dog on it off the leash and just go at these people, because that is the most disgusting decision I have possibly ever seen in terms of a game of such importance. I'm going to look at some of your comments now. Just honestly, absolutely fucking raging at that. I really am. Brian saying, for fuck's sake, who are they trying to kid? Penalty in my arse. Shocking decision. Absolutely. Ian saying, fucking disgusting, which it really, really was. Just shocking, absolutely shocking. We've got Les in the house. See, Les has even stayed awake for this. That's how pissed off Les is. Cheated out of that. Les says, Zara saying, could that payoff be more obvious? Well, I couldn't blame you for throwing those accusations, and I really, really couldn't. We've got Jamie Cox saying, robbed, absolutely disgusting. Dean is echoing the same comments of robbing bastards. It's so disappointing as well, because the lads were so good. They were so good. I'm not going to put your comment up because they might get kicked off. Jack saying, shit ref decision. The lads were warriors. Me and Mark were talking about this, before we come on, and we always talk about who man of the match was. And I was all lined up to give it to Nick Pope, to be honest with you. The amount of saves Nick Pope made, the first half against Mbappe, the second half, is it the lad that comes on with the dreads? I can't remember his fucking name now, but I thought that was one each. That save that Nick Pope made, I felt like ringing Gareth Southgate myself and saying, "Are you watching the fucking TV, mate?" Because that was one of the best saves I've seen certainly all season, if not the last couple of seasons. And I thought, this is Nick Pope's night. We've got this in the bag, but we're going to be second in the group. All the press is going to be about Nick Pope, about Newcastle just battling through and everything else as well. And then that shit happens. And I mean, to be fair to Mbappe, he didn't do a great deal all night. I think a couple of little movements when he kind of shoulder charged Share off. He just went, "Oh shit, there he is. There's the player that everybody's worried about in world football." But the penalty was an excellent penalty. There's no keeper saving that, really, in all fairness. But it just really sticks in your throat, isn't it? It's just like somebody's come and shit in your dinner. They've made you a great meal and they've come and shit in your dinner just before you're about to eat that fucking dish. And I'm raging, absolutely raging. I really, really am, as you guys are in the comments as well. We've got Jeffrey there saying, we were robbed, referee got it wrong. The lads were brilliant. I mean, the lads were brilliant. Just stepping away from this dreadful referee decision for a minute, just talking about some of these players in isolation. Like I say, Tino Livramento, God, honestly, any person who said, what we're signing this kid for, me included, just eat your words, because this kid, every time he plays, doesn't matter where he plays, right back, left back, midfield, he just seems to be absolutely class. And he's 21 years old, man. He's bossing games against Man City, against Arsenal, against Paris Saint-Germain effortlessly. He's bossing games. And you just think, wow, like that is absolutely incredible. How on earth is this kid, being as good as he is? So I'm so happy to see him, come on and do what he's doing in this lineup. Is just incredible. As I say, I can't see Dan Burn getting back to the side when he's fit, if that is the way that the Tino's playing. Yeah, Marcus says Pope was his man of the match. Absolutely. John saying Miley FIFA understanding is great. Do you know what is Miley? I've got to shout him out as well. I just, every time I see the kid, I just love the kid. I just think he's so fucking good. You look at a player who's 17 years old. He doesn't look even rattled at all. I'm looking at him in the lineup. You don't see any nerves. I mean, I think somebody said the mascot he walked out with the other day was about 5 years younger than him. It looked like the same tonight, but he doesn't look rattled. He doesn't look phased. He just looks like he belongs on that pitch, on that arena. I mean, there was one point I text Marky, just Louis Miley, 17 years old, casually just putting in a long leg tackle and dispossessing Kylian Mbappe, just like it was, an everyday thing. And just, it's amazing to see. But I just feel so cheated for the lads, absolutely cheated for the lads that they've been screwed out of a record, kind of breaking night, really, something that would go down in history as one of the best performances in Europe for Newcastle United, absolutely. And it just pisses me off. A comment there from Mark in the admin saying that this is from April. In their guidelines for next season, the board recommends that UEFA should clarify that no handball offence should be called on a player if the ball is previously deflected from his own body, and in particular when the ball does not go towards a goal. Well, there you go. They're in breach of their own fucking rules, which, to be honest with you, doesn't surprise me with these absolute shitbags who are running this setup, this organisation. It's just disgusting. And all we're going to do now is talk about the referee. Now, yeah, it's a good comment there, MITK. That how did he come to that decision? This is where I want the refs mic'd up for me, mate. I want them mic'd up, and I want him to tell us, for us to hear in real time, how he's come to that decision. If Louis Miley's handball 5-10 minutes beforehand is not a handball, and you'd adamantly waved that away, you've not even even took a second to look at the screen. What makes them two different? I don't really understand that. Yes, it was a little bit higher. Louis Miley's arms down. Yeah, it is Louis Miley, by the way, TNT Sport, not Lewis Miley. To be fair, I will let them off slightly because it does look like Lewis. But yeah, they just said it all night. And it was winding Mark up, to be fair. Mark is a stickler for pronunciations. That's why he tells me off when we do the rumour has it ones and I get it wrong. But going back to the handball, I don't see the difference between the two. I really, really don't. And I'd love the referee to explain to me just how, or us as a fan base, or anyhow, how on earth he's come to that decision. I really do, because we need it. We need the mic'd up referees, like rugby. We need it. I think it's one of the things that'll fix referees. Ronald's saying absolutely fucking robbed. Yeah, never a penalty in extra time. Total piss take. I totally agree. So, I mean, in terms of the group, I think that leaves us. I think it was still bottom. I think or are we third? I'm trying to remember where we are now in the group. Someone tell me in the comments, or Mark can tell me in the comments. But we've still got still got the Milan game, at St James's Park at the old Tenali derby. It's St James's Park, which will be the last game. Now, whatever the situation may or may not be in there, we might very well be in a position where we could get, Europa Cup football, or we might be in a position where, we're really struggling to even get anything out of it, really. But listen, whatever happens in the Champions League, whatever happens, I think that performance tonight, those lads can be absolutely proud of themselves, 100% proud of themselves. I think Eddie will be proud of the lads. I haven't seen what he's had to say, and I'm sure he's nothing but glowing references for the lads, and just, I mean, some of them are dead on their feet. I mean, we talked about Pope, Miley, Tino, Mickey Almiron tonight. It's his second game back from injury. He was brilliant at the weekend against Chelsea. Tonight, he was practically running on one leg at one point, but the tackles he was putting in, the press, the pressure, him and Anthony Gordon, I mean, you got to wonder how much gas is left in their tanks after a shift like that on Saturday and then this tonight. And, these players will run an extra 20 or 30% for this manager and for this football club. And we're so lucky that we've recruited the right kind of players to do that. And I think with Miggy and Gordon out wide, it's such a shame that Isak wasn't at his best sharp Isak form. I think he buries that first chance he gets if he is. He skies that, he bites at that, he chops at it, it goes over the bar. A fully fit sharp Isak, 5 or 6 games under his belt, buries that, and we're 1-0 up there. And then, he gets his other chance and we're 2-0 up, and that's a totally different game altogether, really. But, he looks sharp in spells, but such was the intensity of the game. I think he just burnt out, and we didn't have anybody else. If Wilson's on the bench there, Wilson comes on probably on the 50th, 60th minute, and maybe Wilson can be somebody that can hold the ball up a little bit, or maybe rough the defenders up and be a different type of player in that moment. But we didn't have those players, unfortunately, because the squad is so wafer thin. But I'm so proud of the lads to do what they did tonight. I really, really am. As Simon's saying there in the comments, impressive performance tonight. Miley, Tino, and Pope, fantastic. I mean, we're going to have some time to recover for Manchester United, obviously coming on Saturday. Manchester United ain't great. I think if those lads play there, we're third. I think, Mark's in the comments, we're third in the group now. As Luke's backing that up as well. So, we still got a chance. We've still got a chance, in terms of that last fixture. And when that group of death was first announced, nobody gave us a hope in hell, especially yours truly. And then I was massively proven wrong with the way the lads have performed in the group. Certainly, that match game too at home against Paris Saint-Germain, and then tonight as well. We should have really done a double over Paris Saint-Germain. And nobody could have took that away from Newcastle, because we were sensational in the home game. We battered them. And then tonight, it was a gritty, dug-in performance, discipline. I mean, again, I'm going back to people like Louis Miley, 17 years old, to be as defensively disciplined as that kid was tonight. That shows you the level of shape and structure that Eddie Howe puts those players through in terms of the training pitch and everything else. But for a kid at 17 to not lose focus, to do that at 17 years old, to track back. How many times did you hear Miley's got a block in, Miley's back defending, Miley's got a header? There's so many times I started to lose count how many times this kid dropped in and defended. And I'm so excited about what he can become as a player. And I'm trying not to put him on a pedestal, but with every game that he has, he seems to just get better and better. And you see different facets of his game. You see the pass he can play to Isak at the weekend. You see his defensive discipline tonight. I said it a while ago when I was talking about the Tonali situation. Everyone's got their own viewpoint of Tonali. But if I'm Sandro Tonali and I'm banned for 10 months, I'm looking at this kid thinking, how good is he going to be in 10 months when I get back into this squad? That's what I'm thinking if I'm Sandro Tonali. So, but that's a different podcast for another day as well. George is saying Ali McCoy. I love Ali McCoy on commentary, to be fair. Big fan of him. He was doing his nut. He was foaming, absolutely foaming. And even Jermaine Genius as well, the non-Newcastle legend, as Laura Woods called him, which was amazing when Shay Given came over. Even Michael Owen says, Roger, even Michael Owen is tweeting that we've been robbed. Absolutely. I think Dortmund are through, I think, because they won tonight. So I think Dortmund are through. I think they topped the group. That's pretty much in the bag for those guys. But yeah, I mean, I think any football person watching that tonight, even Everton fans that hate us with every ounce of their being, even they must watch that tonight and go, "Nah, they were robbed there." To be fair, that is an absolute daylight robbery. That penalty, it really is, and I just don't understand how on earth the referee's given that with a straight face every day. It's ruined his whole night because he could have got loads of plaudits for being a great ref, and he's just went and fucking burned it to the ground with that. Jackson and Miggy look absolutely shattered. He really, really did. I mean, Miggy's just got so much energy, Jack, isn't he? That even when he's knackered, I think Miggy runs more when he's knackered than John Joe Shelby did in 6 months. To be fair, that just shows you how much energy that he has. But I do worry how the lads will recover for Manchester United. I just hope that they do get a chance to recover and go again against Manchester United. Rock the tune in the comments. Absolutely disgusting decision. No way handball. The ref didn't see every angle. Bad VAR. Yeah, I do agree. I absolutely agree. I just think it was absolutely shocking. I really do. I kind of get my head around that. I really, really can't, honestly. Just mental. Gary's in the comments saying, right now, I think this season is already a success. I've never seen a team give so much under adverse conditions. That's a fair shout, Gary. I think we were so quick to get pissed off in the moment. But these lads have been anything that's been thrown at these lads this season, they've just knocked away. Injuries, potential transfer issues, and blocking deals in the Premier League against them, and people accusing Newcastle of getting favouritism. They've just taken it all in their stride, and it's galvanised the squad. The Tonali ban, massive thing, galvanised the squad. You're right, Gary, and they've just week in, week out, they've just shown that they're up for any fight that's thrown at them. And I'm sure there'll be salty fans taking the piss out of us on social media, for getting robbed and stuff like that, and saying, "Oh, you're going to go out the Champions League, right?" But these top four rivals probably want to hope we don't go out the Champions League, because if we put all of our focus back into the Premier League, we could knock these fuckers out the top four straight away. Because with that intensity that we've got and the way that we play, with the players coming back in January around the corner, this squad could be even more of a threat to their top four positions than we are right now. But tonight we are licking our wounds. We are pissed off. It's just not great to have drawn the game like that. At the start of the game, I think we would have snapped anyone's hand off for a draw, but it just feels a sickener now. It just feels like a kick in the dick. It really, really does that we've drawn that game, especially in those circumstances as well. Those lads will be so pissed off. Going back in that dressing room, and Eddie will be pissed off as well. John saying VAR picks and chooses when it gives decisions. You really have to wonder about corruption. The man in the middle is now 4 or 5 people, and they still get it wrong. Absolutely, mate. It is disgraceful. I just can't believe the decision. Friendly Channel saying Tino is like Gordon 2.0. I mean, that left-hand side with those two, Friendly, wow. I mean, talk about pace and intensity, man. Just brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant. Comment there from Robert Sheard, Pages and Pause. Still trying to figure out how there was 8 added minutes. That is a very good point, mind you. Where did that come from? 3 quick subs, 45-second delay. When Miggy went down, yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Absolutely weird. I've got a few more comments coming here. What I've got here, yeah. So Les is saying Eddie's conducting himself impeccably as usual. Of course he is. He's class in a glass, isn't he, Les? He's just mint. He never gets rattled in that moment, does he? He's so calm. I remember watching him on that was a high performance podcast, and he's just so eloquent. You can tell he's well read in terms of practices and anchors to stop you losing your rag and stuff like that. I mean, sometimes losing your rag is all right. I find it quite cathartic when I have my little rants on here that you guys all enjoy. You let off, I'm like a valve, let off a bit of steam, and I'm all right after a while. But people like Eddie Howe can just keep it all under the surface and just chill. You know what I mean? And fair play. I have massive respect for Eddie on that. But that's even better because he doesn't look rattled, and he just goes back and he'll tell them lads how good they were tonight, and everyone to a man will know how good they were tonight and why they've been robbed. And when he does lose his rag, it'll be behind the scene. It won't be at the lads, it'll be at the referee. I'm sure he's called them every name under the bloody sun. Do you know what I mean? And then, as Mark says, always Les, the rest of us can lose our minds, absolutely, because Eddie just has to show that eloquence and that class that he does so well. Comment from 66 saying that brilliant performance. Commentary, we were waiting for PSG to score. Robbed. And I think the commentary was all right on BT. I don't know what you were watching on me, but BT were good. McCoist is really, really good. Is it Fletcher's the other one next to him? And they were furious. The penalty was given. To be fair, they were waxing lyrically about Newcastle, and they knew we deserved that win. And I think I've got to say probably the best commentary I've heard in a Newcastle game for some time, to be honest with you. Another comment from Gary saying that Miley has had 2 starts and he's proved one of the best players in the country. Do you know, people think this is a bit of hyperbole, Gary, but if you look at the other options there, I was saying this to Mark tonight as well, I'm trying not to get too hysterical about Louis Miley, but like I said, we've seen two sides of him. We've seen that the ability to get forward, make those long staff runs that he did on Saturday against Chelsea, find that through ball. But then tonight, that defensive discipline to me was almost even more exciting than what he did on Saturday, because for 17 to be able to just to do that, to drop into, to track those runners, to make those tackles. There was loads of times where Trippier was high-fiving them. And what I noticed tonight as well, even in a game of this magnitude, and we didn't see this at Bournemouth, and I think I came on and had a bit of a moan about it. The players were looking for him. He was making those little drop-offs, and they were knocking the ball to him back and forth and back and forth and back. And I think the players are starting to, to have the confidence that the young lad can take the ball in those environments. He's not phased. He's not scared. So a couple of times he did a couple of lovely little turns, and he just sent one guy another way, and he'd get it and he'd knock it simple. And I just think he uses the ball so well, especially for a kid of his age. And at the minute, him, Bruno, and Joe, I think work really well together. Whatever's going to happen with Sean Longstaff's ankle will be a tester. If Sean gets fit and gets back in the team. But at the minute, I don't see why you would take Louis Miley out. I really don't. I think at the minute, he's showing his worth in that team. He's played two very difficult games. I think he'll start against Manchester United. I don't think even if Sean's fit, I don't think he'll start because he hasn't played enough. So I think Louis Miley will play against Manchester United. And, if he gets that time and space on the ball again, maybe puts in another great performance. And again, Gary might be right. We're talking about a kid, like I said right at the start of the episode, the third youngest English player to play in the Champions League next to Jude Bellingham and Phil Foden. If you're good enough, you're old enough. And he's, look at that company that he's keeping. I'm not saying he's going to become as good as them, but fucking hell, he might do. You know what I mean? And if he does that in a Newcastle shirt, wow, that's something that we can be really excited about. Well, Ian's just summed it up. Even Cundy is saying that it's not a pen. That shows you how fucking bad that was. And even Jason Cundy is saying that it's not a pen. I agree with Jack Burton. And the Pork Chop Express, good to see you, Jack. Ref has bottled that. He's felt under pressure to give it away from the other two appeals. I think you might be right. I mean, I will say one thing about PSG fans tonight. Wow, that noise was incredible, wasn't it? Just from minute one, the Geordies were singing. You could just hear them towards the end. But the noise from the PSG crowd was sensational, to be fair. I've seen a lot of bad shit on social media about fighting and throwing chairs and starting brawls and all that. But in the crowd there, that was an atmosphere. That was a hostile atmosphere. So for the lads to play in that environment, 17, 21-year-old lads to play in an environment like that, you've got to give them even more credit. Richie T saying, before they gave me the take to draw, me too, Richie, but can't help but feel hard done by Snap. Super proud of the team. Now time to get a result at Milan at home. Absolutely. I mean, that game is stoked up to be a hell of a game. I think there's a bit of needle in there already. I think with the whole Tonali scenario. But I think, that game is definitely going to be a hell of a game to be at and to be in the stadium at, and whoever's lucky enough to be there, drink that atmosphere, and that could be a historical night. If we get that result, and if it takes us in the knockouts, amazing. If it takes us in Europa, amazing. But if the lads do crash out the Champions League, whatever it may be, I think as a few of you have already said, we've put in the performance enough to show that we belong in that company. And if we do go out this competition at this particular stage, we'll be back next season. We really will. I think we'll go at the league and we'll get top four, and we'll go again next season, and we'll be better for the experience. Those players who've never played Champions League this season will have that experience for next season, and we will be a better side 100% going in there. As David says there, what a performance from the lads. Absolutely superb. It really, really was. We've got another comment from Paul McCoffey saying, we have an extra day to recover. Man, you play tomorrow. That's a very good point, Paul. I forgot about that. Yes, Manchester played as Copenhagen they're playing, I think, and didn't go very well, did it? To be fair, after last time, we got a comment from Alan. Looks like an Arsenal fan, and he's saying blatant bong. So even Alan's furious on it as well. Absolutely, Alan. It didn't look very good at all. It really, really didn't, did it? Time and Tide saying too much money in the game now. Well, I hope that referee didn't take that, because he had a great game before that. To be brutally honest with you. They say he's just ruined his entire game, to be honest. Coming from Sensible, saying 2 hours ago he would have killed for a woman draw. Me too. That's what I said in the preview. Sets up a great night and a 2 and a 4 night heroic performance. That's just the thing. You feel hard done by for the lads. Sensible, don't you? Just put in a shift like that and leaving with a point where the three were there. You saw Joe Linton's face at the end of the game, shaking his head, and rightly so, man. He was absolutely fucking raging at it, and so was everybody else. And Robert saying PSG were humiliated, so they gave them a penalty, so they didn't lose face. I thought they were poor. I don't think they performed. The first 5-10 minutes, I was worried. I thought, shit, they're going to come out here and they're going to really go at us. They're going to go for the jugular. But I thought they weren't as good. I think Mbappe floated in and out of the game. He didn't really have a great impact. That little flick in the first half, I thought, shit, he looks up for this tonight. He's on a good scoring run. But I think he was dealt with really well by Trippier, by Cher, Lascelles at times, but mainly by Trippier. And then obviously with that protection cover by Miley, by Bruno coming over and helping them out as well. And I just think we handled them really, really well. To be honest, I just think it was a great performance by our defence, and Mbappe was kept really quiet yet again. You're right, Sean, that the football gods are really testing us 100%. I agree with you, Ty. I don't know where 8 minutes come from. I really don't. I question this injury time. There's all this bollocks talk about sin bins. Maybe tune in tomorrow. You might see one of my rants about it, and don't watch it near your children. But they keep adding time on out of nowhere. I really don't understand it. And these 8 minutes come out of nowhere, come out of thin air. That wasn't an 8-minute added injury time game for me, maybe 4 or 5 maximum. So I don't know where 8 come from. I really don't. There was no long-term injuries. There was no loads of subs, as people said. So where did the 8 minutes come from is 1 point. And then the penalty, he doesn't give the Miley one, and then he gives that one. No consistency. Utter bollocks. Simon is saying that Sandro Tonali can do one. He was the front man for a sting that his beloved Milan benefited from. The love he gets from some of the fans is madness. I must admit that the Tonali thing is a weird one, Simon. But like I said, mate, if Louis Miley keeps playing like that, Sandro Tonali ain't getting in this team. I'll tell you that. Absolutely 100%. Yeah, Gordon, I think we've been screwed as well. Absolutely, mate. I couldn't agree more with that. I think we've been really, really poor. Really, really poor. I agree with Roger. Yeah, I think McCoist is class, to be fair. I think McCoist is really good. He's really, really good. Sabotage is saying that Luis Enrique is a bit shit as a manager, isn't he? Yeah, I mean, he went to Barca, obviously, didn't he? He did a little bit of Barca, but you do wonder if he's just one of them managers that gets all that credit and praise, for not really doing a great deal. I mean, there's proper good managers like, Ancelotti and Pep and Klopp and now Eddie Howe, I would say as well, who earned that right. But Luis Enrique, yeah, I'm not entirely convinced myself. I've got to be honest with you. Yeah, Ian's the same as Mark was. He was screaming, take Isaac off 80 minutes. He was lethargic and zero input. He really was. I just think he was wrecked, Ian. He was just burnt out. You're right to coin again. Everyone's saying 8 minutes. Where the fuck did 8 minutes come from? Stephen's saying injustice, but the season is young. We'll get better with a full squad. That's a really good point, Stephen. Look how good these lads are playing now. Look how good the lads are who are coming in. Then you start getting your depth back. You get Longstaff back. You get Byrne back. You get Willock back. You get Harvey Barnes back. You get Elliot Anderson back. You get Wilson back. And you've even got January to add 2 or 3 bodies in there too, mate. How much could we go for the league? Could we go for cups with a much fitter, better squad than that? We're going through our injuries now. Other teams will have their injury problems later on. And if their injury problems come on the other end of January, they're fucked. Whereas with us, we know we can add 2 or 3 bodies into that squad right now, and we should be in better shape, towards the business end of the season, where other teams might fade away from that top 4 picture, and we'll grow stronger and stronger. So, yeah, for me, I just think that, get our injury problems out of the way early doors, and hopefully we will be able to be better. Rich Anderson saying, can't change that decision, but leaves me thinking football is becoming more and more corrupt. So much money involved. PSG were never going to not qualify. I really hope that isn't the case, Rich. I really do, mate. I just think that that would be so disappointing in the world of football if that was the case. And I hate to even think about that kind of corruption. We've got Autumn Vicky Danny. If Pope had done what Tino done, we were saying world-class save. Tino isn't capable of that, so it wasn't on purpose. Accidental handball. Does ball to hand not exist anymore? No, I agree with it. I mean, I think the commentator even said that wouldn't have been given in the Premier League. Again, you don't hear many people talking good about the Premier League at the minute, but that was a disgraceful decision. And I think the referee will wake up and look at that again and think, shit, I've dropped a bollock there. I really have. But then it's too late, as Gary O'Neill says every single week. The poor bastard. Doesn't really make a difference, does it? Gary V saying, I think he's just agreeing with Ian earlier. I don't understand what just happened. Dick Turpin is alive and well, sitting in the VAR suite in PSG. Yeah, I mean, if VAR were the people who've convinced him to make that decision, then they need to come out and they need to explain why they've done that. So because again, it just does not make any sense at all. Fully agree with Graham there. Miley is a superstar. in the making. I don't think we can speak any higher about the lad than we already do. He seems to have done everything now. He's passed defensive masterclass. What's the betting for a Louis Miley 30-yard screamer in off the bar against Man United on Saturday? Get yourself to the bookies, bet responsibly. But that would just tee off this kid's week, wouldn't it? For how well he's been doing, to be honest with you. So I would not rule that one out at all. Another one, Les there saying if it goes to head-to-head points-wise, we're above PSG as we beat them and we drew. That's a good point, Les. That's a very, very good point. So this isn't over. It's not over at all, to be honest with you. We still have a chance. So it's not the end of the world, but just seems really deflating that we drew this game. Derek is saying Isak could have just sat on the halfway line and gave us an outlet when we were defending. It's not really his game, Derek. I think he wants to drop deep and get involved. His legs just weren't letting him, was it, to be fair? Wilson might have done that possibly, but I think Wilson's obviously not available, is he? Mark is saying, what's that? He's not old enough to put it. He's not old enough to put a bet on. I love the bit was I think Shay Given said it on BT or TNT, as it is now, that they were asking Louis Miley or any of your friends in the crowd. And he said, no, they're all still at school, which I think is just meant, that shows you how young the kid is, but really excited about this player as we all are. Yeah, you're right, Mark. Absolutely robbed, 100%. And it feels that way. It just leaves a bad taste in the mouth. It really, really does. Shez, I don't feel like complimenting the PSG fans right now, Chris. Sorry, Shez. Yeah, just giving them credit where it was due, mate. To be fair, because I thought that the noise was good. But yeah, they had plenty to cheer about because the ref was a fucking PSG fan, wasn't he? So fuck him. Let's have a look here. What else we got? Coming from Conrad Richards. In his opinion, Eddie should have thrown on subs at 88 minutes, taking off the three forwards, put on Hold them at. Yeah, I mean, hindsight's a good thing, Conrad, isn't it? I think Eddie just felt the lads maybe had enough just to get over the line. And obviously Eddie's done such a good job of this club. It's hard for us to really judge him too much. And he was a couple of minutes away really from probably a managerial masterclass, and we would already been saying, wow, this guy's the best manager in the world, really. So yeah, I'm not going to be too judgmental on Eddie, but yeah, I understand the logic. I really understand the logic on that one as well. Another one from here we go. We've got here. Chaseman, but that pen decision is more of a shit than Oscar the Crouch's fanny pack. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Yeah, and Halloween said it's a disgrace. It is. That's generally the reoccurring theme, guys, that we're all just absolutely foaming, really, that this was given. John saying, yeah, 8 minutes. This 8 minutes is just, where did the 8 minutes come from? Zara says there, maybe Jurgen Klopp had the watch. You might be right, Zara. I think that it must have been borrowing Jurgen Klopp's watch. Maybe he was in the VAR room laughing away with his big Turkish teeth, the bastard. Jens was saying that Isak was knackered today. He was. What worries me about Isak, and Mark made a good point in the comments when we were talking, was if he's knackered for Saturday, that's the worry, because he's only just come back. We've seen him break down before. I really hope that he's not knackered for Saturday. I mean, without being too harsh, Manchester United are, I wouldn't say they're fair game, but Manchester United are probably an easier side to play against than PSG. So you could play Gordon through the middle, maybe change up a little bit. You maybe even throw Lewis Hall in as a midfielder, potentially on the left-hand side, and then have Isak off the bench. But, let's hope he is fit, because we do need that focal point of a centre forward, because we're just not, I still think we're good enough without it, really. Just Mark showing that in his statistics as well, to be honest with you. Yeah, old angry noob gamer, which I always have to read very slowly because I'll just sound like gibberish. So proud of the lads, 100% gamer. Me too. I just think they were mint to a man. Absolutely every single one of them were absolutely mint. Lee saying full credit for Miley. Yeah, I just thought he was class. He just doesn't look phased, Lee, does he? He just looks mint. Everything you throw at the kid, he just hoovers up. I mean, he was even getting praise off Jermaine Genius. That tells you everything, isn't it, really? Yeah, Ian's in the comments, Toon Trader, what a joke. Yeah, so proud of the lads today, 100%, mate. Well said, Ian, they were mint. You couldn't have asked for any more, really. They gave everything that they could have gave for that game, and they were screwed by a piss-poor decision by a ref that bottled it, as Scott says there, robbed. The lads perfectly deserved the win, 100%, mate. Just, there's not much more we can say really about it. I just think it's just an absolute daylight robbery. Graham saying, what performance these lads were running on fuel. Not running on fuel, running on air. I don't know why the ref was sent across to the screen as those of ours should have been waved away. I reckon 5 minutes max. Yeah, I agree with that. Disgrace, but equally proud. Well said, Jules without riches. PSG are shite. They weren't very good at all, to be honest with you. I was massively underwhelmed by them, massively underwhelmed. I just don't think that they look like a elite side, really. I think the two games that we've played them, bear in mind, we've been kind of patched together a little bit with masking tape. They just haven't looked like an elite side. I don't think. I think we've played better in the Premier League, and beat them as well, to be honest with you. But these competitions can be a little bit like that, can't they? And I just think tonight is such a shame that all the lads' endeavour, effort, graft, determination, quality as well, in terms of Livramento, in terms of Louis Miley, 17 years old, Champions League debut, looked like a Champions League veteran, all these great things that the lads put in tonight into that game. They've just been screwed by a piss poor referee decision, and it's just it really is just sickening, really, to say out loud. It just pisses me off, and I think it's pissing everybody off as well. But I think that's us pretty much done for the match review tonight, guys. Thank you so much to everybody who's tuned in for it. Hopefully it's helped you get some of this off your chest. I'm sure wherever you're going to go tomorrow, work or anywhere else, you'll have a good old rant about it as well. And if you fancy as well, why not tell them to subscribe to the Evermore YouTube channel? Come and be a member. We're so close to 6,000 subs, loads of room for any family or friends you want to recommend. Smash that button, all free content, as you know. If you do fancy giving a little back to the channel, there is a member options there, which a few years are. You get early access to all the videos. Remember to like as well. Helps the channel grow. Have a good night, whatever you do with. Try not to punch the pillar too much. Try and have a good night's kip. I'm sure we'll wake up tomorrow and still be pissed off by this whole thing as well. We'll catch you later, everyone. Cheers.